Okay, I would like to start this out by just talking for a second about the story itself. So this is going to be a speed paint of characters that I've had in my head for over a decade. And the story, it's about these winged cats, and the winged cats have societies, and the societies have problems. Um, Important lore pieces that are really just important for the speed paint, but, well, they are important for the story, but the only lore that you need to know for the speed paint. Got it. Uh, each cat has markings on their face, and they're like right around the eyes, and they're symmetrical. Basically, every cat has symmetrical markings on either side of the eyes, except for our main character. Um, and so the whole thing with the symmetrical markings is that if you're born with asymmetrical markings, it is like kind of seen as a bad omen, really only among like the older cats who, were kind of around for the more superstitious time. Not that they're like technologically advanced or anything, but the older cats have seen more in their lives than any younger cats, so of course they're going to believe the bad omen more than any other cat. Um, yeah. So the markings are part of this thing. You will see them later. I'll probably explain them better later. Also, each cat has wings. There are two types of wings that these cats can have: bird wings or bat wings. Do I know why I made the difference? No, I don't. I really don't know why I made bird wings and bat wings. Aesthetics, I guess. They're like equal basically in the populace. Uh, a birdwing cat and a batwing cat can have either a birdwing kitten or a batwing kitten. I would say that birdwings are a stronger gene, maybe. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. I don't need to think that far ahead because I'm not like doing anything with that. Anyways, it's basically just two types of cats can happen. Also, wings can be really big. It is a genetic mutation that is completely random. It is very rare. But they can be very huge. And guess what? Ba ba da ba. Our main character has that too. Why? I don't know. Aesthetics, again. I made this a decade ago. Ask young me. Go back in time, find me when I was younger, and ask me. I would like to know as well. Anyways, let's go. Let's get into it. Starting with our ba ba da ba main character. Yay! Um, so a little history behind him. He was originally named Cloud Eyes, or just Cloud for short. Then I wanted to go for kind of like a Warrior Cats vibe to it. So I was like, him who has clouded eyes, and they just call him Cloud. And then I was like, no, that's lame. So then I changed his name to Atlas. I know, so similar. So similar. Why even bother changing it? No, it's got lore reasons. It's really not that hard to guess, especially when you hear the other names and you like know anything about Greek mythology. Uh, Not to give it away, but yeah, I could just say it out loud, but I also feel like no, I'm not gonna give any spoilers. Anyways, so these characters are moderately based off of one, Warrior Cats, two, How to Train Your Dragon. Um, if you don't notice some similarities as I'm talking about them and their personalities, probably more in the second video because this is more about the main characters and the second video is going to be more about the secondary characters. Anyways, Atlas. He's blind. That is where the name Cloud Eyes came from because his eyes look like they have clouds in them and he can't see. Yes, like I said, he's one of the ones with the massive wings for no other reason than I thought it was cool. Or maybe there was another reason. Again, go back and ask younger me why I did that. I wanted him to have a kind of striking silhouette, which is why his, you know, hair on the back of his neck looks like that, and on his cheek fluff. He also has always been kind of a gray. I did, if you see on the left, I had sketched some designs just like on my phone. And in the next character, there's going to be a different color palette, which I didn't like as much with him because he's just been gray to me, so he's always going to be gray. I did like what I ended up with here, though. The stripes looking like clouds. Just kind of a general, like, little bit of stripies everywhere, but not too over the top. I thought it was cute. I also thought the color that I picked for his markings was cute, which, again, asymmetrical. That's just how he is. He's my little boy. Asymmetrical. I liked the color I picked for those. Anyways. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, he's basically like if a Maine Coon had wings. Yeah. So like each cat can kind of be a different cat breed. Next cat. Her name is nameless because I still haven't thought of a good name for her. I've got a couple contenders, but I'm also kind of like, do I want to go with that or do I not want to go with that? So she remains nameless. It's also kind of an insult to her because of story-related reasons. Anyways, she's also a Maine Coon-like cat. She also is blind, but her blindness was not, throughout her entire life. It was because of a, whoa, gigantic scar on her face. Yeah, she's also very fluffy, like Atlas is, but that's also just kind of how Maine Coons are. They're very fluffy. She's also kind of a tabby, like he is as well. A lot of these cats were tabbies in my head because I guess tabby is just the way that a cat is supposed to look. To me, I don't know, I'm joking. Cats can come in any shape and size and color and pattern. She has normal-sized wings, because again, the gigantic wings are not the most common feature that cats can have. She's also huge. She's supposed to be bigger than Atlas. God, I'm forgetting my own cat's names. She's supposed to be bigger than Atlas. I don't think I sized her correctly. More so because I was just scared to make a gigantic cat, because she would already tower like twice the size of, other regular-sized cats. Anyways, like I said, she's also tabby. The color on her neck, I kind of went for like a bit of a mullet look. And I like it. I like it a lot. Fun tabby pattern with like I don't even know what you call it. Splotches, but like the stripes peek through the splotches. I don't know. I like that. I like when cats do that. Yeah. I was pretty happy with it. I liked the ending there. I really liked the mullet idea. I liked the single stripe on the side of her face. Kind of a stand-in for having no markings because she has the gigantic scar across her face, which caused her markings to fade. But yeah, I liked it. Next up is Cronus. He is our villain. He is a very bad boy. He's also a very big boy. He is also Maine Coon-like cat, obviously for being so gigantic. Very fluffy, of course, being Maine Coon. And his kind of inspiration was Tiger Claw, Tiger Star, tabby, dark brown tabby. Well, he's not dark brown, he's just brown. But he's got some dark. And just brown tabby. Brown tabby is Tiger Star. Also, gigantic tabby is Tiger Star. Square chin, looking moderately like a tiger. Tiger Star. Yeah, he has markings. He's not lost his markings like Nameless or anything, but they are what he cares about the most in life. He would be nothing without his markings. He has one tiny little scratch on his face that has made him so self-conscious that he's just like gone mad, even though it hasn't affected his markings at all. I forget if I explained this. It's literally only been like 9 minutes and I've already forgot. But if you get a scratch through your marking, it starts to fade. The smaller the scratch, the less it fades. The bigger the scratch, the more it fades, which is why Nameless doesn't have any markings, because her scratch is huge. It covers her entire face. Cronus, on the other hand, tiny. I didn't even draw it because it doesn't even matter. But he's so vain about it that he's like, I'm nothing without my markings, but he still has his markings. You'll see him in a second. He values the sharpness of it, which is why I was making his stripes particularly sharp. For what reason? He just thinks that it's cool. He thinks that it's masculine, I guess. I don't know. He's a jerk. I hate him. I like him because he's my character, but I hate him because he's a jerk. Coolness factor, right? So, yeah, his markings are not gone, but he is still self-conscious. I ended up changing the stripes, though, because I didn't like the stripes very much, and decided to go with more of a marble, kind of to represent his turmoil as a villain, because, yeah, he's a jerk, but he's also, like, not misunderstood, but emotional, right? Anyways, next character is Nestra. Now, I will give away the fact that this is his mate, and like I was just saying with his markings thing, and you'll see in a second, she also has sharp markings. That is like his one value in life, is to pass on his familial line of having sharp markings, so he's like, my mate has to have sharp markings. Not to say that they're not in love, or weren't in love, but definitely an aesthetic choice more than a, like, attraction choice. She is not a Maine Coon, but she is a very large, like, long-haired cat. I would say domestic, but she's, not domesticated because domestication doesn't exist because humans don't exist. This is an entirely different universe. Her design, I wanted to be more simple. You would think that I would go for a more complicated design for a character that doesn't show up that much, but I decided to do the opposite, and she doesn't show up that much, so she's getting a simple design. I liked the gray kind of scale that I went with her. It's a little bit like purple pink toned, which I really liked. I also just like kind of the design in general. I thought it was simplistic, but really nice. A good combination of colors. Anything I can spill about her? Not really. Because the more I spill about her, the more spoilers it's gonna be, and I don't want to spoil, like, the entire thing. Yeah, I already said that she is large for, like, a domestic breed. Anyways, I think that's the ending. Yep, there she is. Pretty. I liked her design as well. I like all of their designs. Why else would I be posting this? Okay, next one. We have Dyad. Now, she would be our first bat-winged cat. She also has the massive wings, like Atlas does. She has a split tail. So in that lower right corner, I had written polycaudal, not bicaudal, because polycaudal means to have the tail split, and bicaudal means to have, like, two entirely separate tails. So hers is split, so she's polycaudal. As far as her design went, I had, like, a minimal idea in my head. It cooked more as I was, doing the line art. But in the past, she was just kind of, like, yellow-greenish of a color. I don't know why I picked that out of any color I could have picked, but I did. And she was basically solid. And I was like, that is not a great design idea unless it's, like, purposeful. But no, she was just solid because I didn't feel like designing her at all. And also I didn't really use colors in the past because I drew on paper and, like, I don't know, I didn't want to use all my markers because my markers had a limited color palette, and I was like, that's not the right color, so I never just used them. Anyways, now I think I did a much better job with her design. I think it looks so much better than what I had come up with in the past, or the lack thereof. Anything else I can spill about her? I don't think so. I think it would kind of spoil it a little bit. Yeah, I think it would spoil it just a tad. She's a little headstrong. She's definitely vain, but not in the same way that Cronus is vain. And certainly not a villain. She's like why is she the only one I'm spilling the personality about? Because I ain't got much to say about her. Anyways, I liked her design. I thought it was a bit, like, much for how much I'm going to be drawing her, and if I choose to animate her in the future, like, I'm definitely going to be cursing myself. Um, but I did like it. It was my first attempt at a brindle-ish look, and I think I did pretty good. It's not the greatest, but I think I did pretty good. Um, yeah, that's the last one. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and watching the process. Bye-bye!